this Saturday at home, 6 p.m. against Presbyterian. It'll be Teacher Appreciation Night. The Bears and the Blue Hose, who are out of the Pioneer League, have met twice before. The Bears won there in 2019 45-7, and last year, you remembered, we beat the guys 63-10 here at Five Star Stadium. Have two players with us. We'll bring up after Coach Jacobs, but let's bring up head coach Mike Jacobs.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Appreciate you guys being here again this week. It's like last week never happened, right? It was just a dry run for everything. Most expensive scrimmage in college football history. But, here's what I'll tell you about last week. I think it's, again, if we want to be a national program, I think playing in big-time games against uncommon opponents and neutral sites is a great way to do it. And have a lot of respect for the Davis team, especially after seeing them on the hoof and in person. As far as just recapping the game that wasn't, certainly a little bit disappointed on how we started the game. We certainly came out and really couldn't get out of our own way in the first half, especially offensively in a couple instances, really with the penalties. The way I look at that, though, is those penalties, most of them were not lack of mental awareness or anything like that. They're technical issues. They're holding calls, the delay of games on us as coaches. So the things that we didn't do great can be corrected. As far as us, like we certainly want to make sure that we don't start slow again. So we'll take some steps throughout the course of the week in practice to make sure that we got some team situations similar to what we did for the first game, but we'll maybe do a little bit more, a little bit earlier in practice to get the motor running. Other than that first half, I thought our defense played tremendous. They played way too many reps. We put them in some bad spots early in the game, but they really kept us in it. And then in the second half, I talked to our team about going into the game. Certain things never change. You got to run the football. You got to stop the run. You got to play elite special teams. And at pockets of that game, we didn't do any of them. And then in pockets of it, we played really well. But I really thought the determining factor in a win or a loss would have come down to the team that showed the most resiliency, that there was going to be adversity for both teams who could overcome the adversity and persevere. And I do think, we had all the momentum going into that lightning delay and eventually cancellation. We had gotten the running game going. Octavius Eisen made a couple huge plays for us, both in the pass game and running the football. He, at the time of the break, had 120 yards rushing and 50 yards passing, and was a huge impact player for us in that game. We had settled in and we're moving the football. We've gotten a couple big stops. We blocked, I think we got a hand on one field goal, definitively blocked a second one. So those impacted the games. But, all in all, a great learning experience. And we got to move forward because, again, we're playing what I anticipate to be a much improved Presbyterian team. Got a lot of respect for Coach Engelhardt and the things that he's done there. They're coming off. They finished. This will be their first game of the season. And they finished on a 4-game win streak last year. They got the most amount of preseason picks in the Pioneer League, which is what they play in. And so we're going to get a well-coached team, but we're really looking forward to opening the season here at 5-Star and getting all of Middle Georgia out to cheer our kids on because we'll certainly be ready to play. And again, although there was pockets of things that didn't go well, there's a whole bunch to build on. I'm really proud of how we finished that abbreviated game last week. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions or comments.
Coach, it seems like last season the big thing was halftime adjustments, things like that. It seemed like that was kind of the story going into this game as well. What do you tell your guys in a situation like that when you're down by 3 scores and trying to get your guys fired up?
Sometimes you're very pointed and they're meaningful. Sometimes it's a fit of rage. Very, very often does the fire and brimstone do much, but I challenge them to play better. We were not playing in certain areas to our ability, and that's uncharacteristic of our teams, right? And so we had to just, once we settled in, whether it was nerves, I don't think the heat was as big of a factor. It was later on. I thought our conditioning was plus. I thought we were improving as the game went on. But it's just get back to the basics, right? We're not doing the little things well enough that we know we can do, and we just got to get out of our own way. We got to eliminate the self-inflicted penalties. So.
Are you guys still riding with PJ Smith this week? I know it wasn't 100% committed last week. Are you guys still keeping the
Yeah, I mean, coming out of camp, I don't know that it was super close. It was highly competitive, but DJ was ahead of everybody in that room and will continue to be our starting quarterback.
How about that running back room as well? Obviously, Octavius icing, but it seemed like everybody chipped in, stepped up, really a running back room by Octavius.
Yeah, and we knew that going in. We had talked that we really felt strongly that we had 4 known commodities in that room. Billy Martin's a kid that played a little bit sparingly last year, and then Carlos Benjamin's a true freshman. But yeah, those 4 guys that we know about that all played last season, or 3 of them played for us, and certainly Tay had a tremendous year at Charleston Southern, so we expected big things and really had seen it from him all spring and all training camp. So that group will continue to be a 4- and 5-headed monster if it needs to be, but there's a lot of good in that room. That whole group at different pockets made plays for us in that game.
Do you feel that the block field goal was the kind of momentum changer that you guys needed, or did it happen a little bit before that?
I really think Tay's run was what got us back into it. That's whatever 70-yard run or so that it was. I thought that was all right. Hey, we're done. The jitters, whatever was holding us back, we've gotten out of our own way. This is who we are. We're moving forward, and you saw our defense feed off of that. I thought our special teams, very uncharacteristic of us and teams that I coach for the punt team to not be on point. And again, we got a couple new guys in new positions, and you hate to do it on national television, but you work through some of the kinks and you get better the next week, and that's what we've done. But I thought the run by Tay was really the linchpin in turning that around and being like, all right, we're ready to roll now.
How awkward or odd is a bus ride back for 3 hours? You don't have anything to be happy about. You didn't get a W.
I don't know. I've coached for 23 years. I've been a part of wins. I've been a part of losses. I've been a part of ties. Not very many, but to be a part of something that didn't exist, I don't know. I told somebody the other day, it's like Back to the Future 2, right? Where like the world was run by Biff Tannen. We were like in a parallel universe. It happened, but it didn't. So I don't know. It was a little strange. I'd always like to have the scoreboard in our favor, but I certainly felt momentum was coming out of it, and I'm proud of the way our kids responded. I thought we were getting better as the game went on, and certainly deep into the fourth quarter. So I'm highly encouraged by what we saw late in the game.
Coach, was that the best outcome? I mean, you can't come back and finish Sunday, can't declare a loss or win. I mean, is that maybe the best that could have?
Yeah, they asked me my personal take, and my wife's here. She'll tell you I'm stubborn as they come, and so I'd have played it in the parking lot. I would have waited till Monday. The preference was to finish, win or lose, because then I think it's very clear and definitive and decisive at that point. I don't, from what I've heard, the full options were there. It all boils down to not just player safety, but fan safety. It boils down to logistics, and I'm not privy to some of those things. I know we were prepared to wait it out as long as we have to, because we were a bus ride away and not a flight away. And so, I think at a certain point where, I think the city of Montgomery, it sounded like, and some of the folks, and really just the lightning in and of itself, it just kind of sat over the top of us and didn't go anywhere, where they thought it was going to kind of be in and out maybe within an hour. That thing lingered for 2 and 3 hours, and we would have been well into the evening. At that point, I don't know what the returns would have been. We were prepared on our end to wait it out. We knew going in, listen, you deal with that in Middle Georgia and here in the South all the time. we got put in a lightning delay Thursday at practice. Our show on Thursday night started late because we were put in a half-hour weather delay. And so, we traveled extra Gatorade or Powerade. We traveled extra food for our kids, knowing and anticipating that very well could have happened. And so we felt like we were prepared. Our training staff had IVs there, so we continued the hydration for our young men. And, I felt like we were prepared to wait it out as long as we needed to, and then it became. I think for me, I don't know what all the options were, but it was less than a 1-score game, and we had the ball driving in to score. And so had it been a blowout in one way or the other, maybe you could have made a stronger argument that the game was contested and done. But I think no contest for both schools is it was the best of what was available, in my opinion, if the game wasn't going to be finished.
I'll clarify something.
Go ahead.
Montgomery put a limit that we could not play past due to labor, overtime, ambulances, police. We would have stayed, but they just can't. And the second biggest issue was the pilots for the visit team had to be off the ground by 1:45 or it meant them staying another day. The rules state that the two ADs get together, and their AD contested it, so we want to declare a win. If I say I want to declare it a no contest, then it refers to the home team's conference policy, which, but to their AD's credit, he did not contest it. He said, I agree with the no contest.
Yeah.
The main issue was to get them back to the airport. And, you know, we said 11 o'clock. If we have a lightning strike after 11, we can't do it. And then, you know, I think my wife was with me. It lightened all the way to like 11:30,
Yeah.
2 o'clock that morning. So, but that was the two issues. City of Montgomery and the visiting team and the pilots. They had no hotel reservations. It's not like you just go out and find a hotel in the middle of the night for 150 people. So there was just a lot of things in play.
Yeah. And my guess is that was Coach Plow's stance as well. You know, it's some work. I'm in the locker room with us. Our AD is communicating with us, and I'm sure, you know, coaches were competitive. We all want to finish. But again, with the options given, as Jim just very well explained, I think that's probably what's right was the no contest. Absolutely.
Coach, I guess not related to the game, but just in general, TJ Moore with the play with his wife last week, and then kind of you've been in contact with him. How's he doing? How's he feeling? Have you anything you can share with us that hasn't been stated now?
Yeah, I think that, you know, you watched all of us. Like we got it in the coaches group chat. There's videos of it. You know, I knew he wasn't going to see the text, but I'm texting him, congratulations, how awesome it was. And then the next text is, hey man, like your Mercer family's praying for you. Anything we need or anything you need, we can do for you. We're here. And you know, that's a young man that was probably on the cusp of if not making the team, probably at least being on the roster. And you know, I don't know what all the logistics and rules are, but hopefully they'll get him, you know, get him fixed up. And you know, we're here to encourage him. And you know, he texts back, you know, whether he thumbed up or like it, you know, that's a devastating moment. You go from the highest of high to the lowest of low, and I think, you know, it's a great lesson for all of our young men and all of us really that, you know, every moment's fleeting and you can't waste any of them. And you just never know when it's going to be your last play.
During the game that some of the guys were really taking a hit. Ison got up afterwards as well, kind of had his ankle cut. Are there kind of any injuries that you guys have got on this team?
Yeah, I mean, bumps and bruises normal from the first game, a physical game against a top 10 team, but nothing major right now.
You already mentioned kind of the little things, shooting yourself in the foot a little, but I feel like you guys did a great job overcoming that in the second half. Are there any other things you want to change after this game? What's the biggest thing you learned?
We have to start faster. So again, whether that means I need to change some of what our weekly routine is, like we can't be so rigid in what we do that we're not willing to look at, hey, you know, what caused it? We've played, you know, you look at our record over time, right? 9 full seasons. I think our staff's been 8-1 in openers. So I feel like our process leading into the first game typically works. I'm very conscientious of the players' legs. We had significant heat throughout the course of last week. I tried to get it back and pare some of that stuff back going into it, because the thing I didn't want them to feel is tired. And so there's that threshold and fine line of like, hey, we still got all this work to do, but I also got to make sure that we feel great on Saturday. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, man, like we do what we do. I don't think there's major changes that need to be made, but we certainly got to, you know, there's things that we can tweak throughout the course of the week in practice that maybe will get us going and thinking and playing just a bit quicker in what we got going on.
And then kind of the same thing, but on the opposite side. Was there anything that you surprised in a good way, that sticks out as something you're like, this is awesome?
Yeah, other than maybe a handful of plays, I thought defensively, you know, we kind of knew the D-line room, although by committee was still going to be a really strong unit for us. I think there was a lot of question marks from not just us, but, you know, certainly you folks that, you know, what is the linebacker room going to look like? Can we come close to matching the production of 3 all-time greats in that room? And I think that group of guys, led by Julian Fox, led by Drew Clare, Mick Wasan, I think those guys came in and played really at a high level. Davis is a team that utilizes their tight ends quite a bit. They have 3 of them. 2 of them, I think, were all conference. 1 of them was a preseason All-American. And so a lot of what they do with those tight ends is the responsibility of our backers, and those guys did a really good job most of the evening. And I thought in general some of the question marks there, we were good. And again, other areas other than the punt team, we did better than maybe I expected in the other three phases of special teams. I thought our kickoff team, we were able to place the ball deeper. Reese did a great job with kick placement. And our coverage teams, I thought our gunners on the punt team and I thought just our kickoff coverage team were much improved from maybe what we saw at the tail end of last season.
Probably the last thing for me, you already mentioned all over the field. You already mentioned him coming to special teams, deeper on defense. How cool is it to see you really fire on?
Yeah, and the great thing about Mick is like Mick's a guy that's been in this program 4 or 5 years. He's a coach's kid. He does everything right, and so. You knew he aspired for more than being a 4-phase special teamer, but he relished that role last year, and he saw an expanded role on defense, and he showed up and he made plays. And so he's a guy we're going to continue to count on as we you have to rotate defensive players, especially early in the year when heat is an issue, and he'll be one of those guys that we lean on in that linebacker room again, along with Julian Fox and Drew Clare. Isaac Prince as well.
Anything else from Coach Jacobs?
All good? I appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you all Saturday.
Okay, we do have 2 players today. We're veteran players going down to the trenches. First, we're going to the defensive line. Redshirt senior Jordan Swain out of Brunswick. And just FYI, had the game counted on Saturday. Jordan did block the field goal, and that would have been, interestingly, his second blocked kick, both times to the FCS Classic 2 years ago, but it didn't count. It still has the one, but not the second one. All right, Jordan, if you would give us an opening statement, and then I'm sure they have some questions.
How y'all doing today? Thank you for having me. Jordan Swain, senior defensive lineman. As far as the game goes Saturday, I feel like we started slow, but we found our stride later on in the second half. Credit to UC-Davis. They had a great team. They executed well, executed better than we did. And so it was disappointing that the game couldn't finish. I feel like we had the momentum going into it, but that's just how the dice roll sometimes. And so, look forward to this week.
Jordan, how bad does it hurt taking that field goal off the hand?
It didn't hurt at all, actually. It felt like if you block somebody in basketball, it's a good thump, it's a good sound, it's kind of like a good feeling instead of a painful one. So yeah, felt pretty good.
That moment was kind of big for you guys on defense, just changing the momentum, things like that.
Well, yeah, we had a couple of good defensive stands those last couple of drives. I felt like Coach said, the big run by Tay was really the turning point of the game, but I feel like that block was also a good resounding turning point in the game where that kind of picked up the momentum even more for us. And so I feel like the offense getting the ball back, they would have done some good things that drive and made the game a little bit more interesting.
And then the offensive line for Davis, obviously returning all 5 starters.
Mm-hmm.
They're all kind of on the same wavelength. You guys and that D line, how hard was that just going at them?
It was a good physical battle. We knew coming in that they were a good bunch. You could see on internet that they were highly touted, and then when we got on the field, the praise was well earned. They executed well as a group. They were strong, physical, big, fast, and we knew as a D line we had to come out and match that effort. At some points we did, at some points we didn't, but that's what growth is for. You know what I mean? So I feel like we learned a lot throughout that game, and we look to learn more still.
How much harder did Pennick make it? Because I felt like his mobility was pretty hard, but then you guys adjusted really well.
Pennick is a great player. We knew coming in that they had a new quarterback. We knew that he was mobile, but you don't really see it till you get out there. You know what I mean? There was plenty of times we had him in our grasp, so to speak, and he just slipped out, kind of Kyler Murray-esque, if you will. And so he's gonna have a great career at UC-Davis or wherever he ends up. And he's a really good player. I was talking to my pops the other day. We were raving about him, ranting on about him. And so that was a good challenge for us as a D line. Really, the only other quarterback we're going to see with that type of mobility is the guy from Western Carolina. I forget his name, but that was a good test as a D line, and I feel like we can grow off of that.
What's the one thing you're looking to get done in your senior year?
To play to the best of my ability. I feel like I haven't reached my ceiling yet. I feel like I'm still growing. I feel the best I have in my 6 years of being here, as crazy as that sounds. And so Yeah, just to give all the effort that I can, be a mentor for the younger guys, and try to lead by example.
Jordan, do you kind of feel the conditioning of the team came into play there in the third and fourth quarter?
I think it did. I think Coach Jacobs and the coaching staff does a great job of getting us ready each week in and week out. And the heat wasn't a big factor, but it was a factor. And I feel like a lot of the guys weren't. We didn't have many cramps. We didn't have many tiredness issues. And so I feel like the conditioning that we had was really good. And UC-Davis's conditioning was good too. But being down in the South, I feel like we had that slight edge, and it was coming into play towards the end of the game there. Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Jordan? All right, thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right, let's go to the offensive line. Blake Martin is a redshirt senior out of Sawmills, North Carolina, and just FYI, back to his high school days, he also lettered in baseball, swimming, and was an all-state wrestler. With that, Blake, give us an opening statement, please.
My name is Blake Martin, redshirt senior out of Sawmills, North Carolina. Felt like offensive side of the ball, we started off really slow. Definitely didn't play up to our potential right there in the first half, but after some good motivation right there at halftime, and we came together as a team. Believe that we came out there and played to our potential and played to our best ability. Can't put our defense through that in the first half, as the offense especially. I mean, I know Swain and all those guys on defense like Zach, we got one of the best defenses out there, especially in the SoCon, but we definitely can't put them out there back-to-back drives, 3 and outs. But feel very confident in our offensive line and our offense, and that we can come together as a team and be a lot more sharp going into next week's game.
Blake, what did you feel was one of the big things? Why was there a slow start? Was there miscommunication? Was it just things weren't going right? Is it just the first game? You guys are all trying to get on the same page. Can you just kind of walk me through that?
I feel like miscommunication was part of it. Definitely wasn't the main thing. I feel like some of the guys on offense made the opportunity in the game a little bit bigger than it should have been. Felt like especially after those first 2 drives and after that first half, we calmed down a lot, came together as a team. We never put the blame on anybody. That's what I loved about it. We put all the blame on ourselves, and we came together pretty well.
What was that energy like in the second half?
Energy second half, we just had that want. We just had that want to, that fire. Every single one of us wanted to just beat the guy in front of us. And every time somebody messed up, we didn't throw any blame out there. We just wanted to come out there and win, and we just wanted it more than they did in the second half.
Blake, in high school, did you find yourself as one of the very few offensive linemen that also started swimming?
In high school, I didn't play offensive line. I actually played tight end. Okay. But, yeah, I was one of the bigger guys on the swim team, if you want to ask.
What was your specialty?
I was pretty good in butterfly. I was anchor in the relay. I was actually pretty decent in long-distance swimming, swam the 800 free. But, yeah, yes, sir.
I know Mike kind of talked about conditioning. Do you think your background in swimming and things like that, where you have to be very endurant, obviously being a relay racer, does that kind of help you guys when it's hot outside, when it's late in the game, when you're out there for a long period of time?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've always been pretty good with my conditioning. Coming down from North Carolina all the way down to Georgia, heat's different down here. Everybody will tell you that. First 2 months I was down here, I was out there running with the best of them, but I was struggling. That heat definitely takes a factor.
Like you went Wingate and then you transferred to Coastal. What ultimately made you decide to change your path and come down to Mercer?
My offensive line coach from Wingate is down here. I really trust and respect Coach Folkerts a lot. Played against Coach Jacobs and his staff at LR. Really respect what they did and how they ran their program. I mean, it's just coming here from Coastal and from Wingate. I mean, they run a really tight ship. I mean, the standard's a standard. Nothing lower is accepted. And it really fires me up as a player, and I really enjoy that.
When you and the rest of the offensive line in the second half kind of got that really big run off the side, so you guys played neutral, did it feel pretty good to have that one big explosive play around captain you guys?
Oh, yes, sir. It definitely felt like you lifted that elephant off the shoulders right there. Seeing that happen all of training camp, we'd break off a couple big runs, you know, just seeing it finally happen and come to fruition in a game, you know, it just really just shows you that all your hard work's not, you know, wasted. And feel like, you know, that really showed us as a unit that, you know, when everything clicks and, you know, everybody's on the same page, that, you know, we were out there with the best of them.
What happened to your last competitive swing meet race? And has anybody tried to talk crap to you, challenge you?
I don't really remember it too well. We were in the regionals in Charlotte, and we got smoked in the relay race. That was the only one I was in. We got smoked by this team out of Charlotte. But I just, you know, put my swim cap on, put my goggles on. I just tried to tune everything out. And I did catch a little bit of, you know, talk from some of my boys back at home and everything, you know, for being a man, especially a bigger guy in swimming and everything, you know. Nobody expects the big man to win a swimming match, but, you know, it's just got to be a competitor and you got to go out there and do the best of your abilities.
What was it like for you guys in the second half, trying to push DJ to get in for that second touchdown? You guys tried. What was that like for you guys?
I mean, you just got to get down on that line. You got to put your head down and go to work. I mean, the trenches, it's a nasty business. Not everything's going to look pretty, especially when you're doing the tush push on the 1 yard line. You know, you just got to, you know, grit your teeth and, you know, put them hands in the dirt, and you just got to bear crawl through it. And they had some really big guys up front, and especially when 39's jumping over the pile to try and get his DJ. But you just got to keep them feet turning and just believe that you're just stronger than the man in front of you and just plow through them.
What goes through your head, like, when you guys try it first, like, oh, this isn't working, and then they're like, do it again, and you're like, oh, this isn't working, and you guys finally work through it?
I mean, I have all faith in the play calls. I mean, I don't really question anything that's called in. If it don't work the first time, better try harder and get it done the second time. That's all I know.
The offensive line going to do some heels like pushing him at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely got to go take number 7 out for dinner. For sure. He definitely helped us out right there on the second tush push.
Okay, anything else for Blake? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
See what you can learn when you come to a Mercer News Conference. You learn a lot of new information. All right, I'm going to bring Coach Jacobs back up for a special presentation.
Listen, what you know, we have an opportunity to do so much more than just play football here, and you know, through an organization called Team Impact, you have an opportunity to provide an outlet, a community for somebody who's really special, and for somebody who's been through way worse than we have. I can promise you. And so, Kyler is with us today. Kyler's a young man who's 11 years old. He's from right down the road in Kathleen, Georgia. He's also a cancer survivor. Went through, you know, 2 years of pretty intense treatment before now in remission and doing better. But you know, for us, the ability to impact the community and those who look up to our young men on the team is a big deal. And so today, although Kyler's been around and been part of our program now for a few years, we decided that we really felt like we needed to make it official with the signing. And so, you know, he displays and exhibits all the things that we want in our Mercer Bears: the resiliency, the toughness, the mental toughness, the edge. And I know he's always a positive light when he and his family are able to be around our team and our players. We have a group of guys that do a real good job being with him. But today we'd like to make it official, Kyler, and we'd like to sign you as official Mercer Bear. So if everybody clap it up for Kyler, we appreciate it. Kyler, just all we need is you just sign it right there, man. Put the ball cap on. There it is. Now listen, there's no NIL with that, and you can't go into the portal, right? But we appreciate, and again, this is a young man with tremendous resiliency, and we're happy to be a small piece of his journey, and hopefully being around our players. I know it impacts my young boys when they're around. Some of you may even seen our stuff, but just being around our guys and being around the positivity of our program goes a long way. And we're certainly blessed to have his family as part of our Mercer Bear family. And congratulations, man. And we hope to keep seeing you guys around and keep having an impact in your family's lives. So appreciate you all being here and being a part of it. I'll turn it back over to Rick with that. Thank you.
I think he's good for a Bear for life. What do you think? I think he's got commitment. One more round of applause for Tyler. Okay, no game next week, which means no news conference. We'll be back here 2 weeks prior to the Wofford game, but certainly we encourage everybody to be here. 5-Star Stadium, it's education night, great opportunity for the Bears here at home at 5-Star, our first official game. Thanks to everybody for being here today, and we'll see you again next week. Media members, please feel free to take part in the mail first. Thanks everyone for being here.